off the leash. Then you just pull that back. Good job. Don't run with him, just pull it back if he's going too fast for you. Slight tug is good enough. Okay, you can run. Good job, Rowan. Really good job.
Welcome for Wholesome Roots.
That's right. Good morning and welcome to Wholesome Roots. It is a little overcast this morning. I didn't even look at the weather to see what we were expecting, but I know it's been like a chance of rain every day, so it's always a chance of rain in Georgia. But it's been pretty warm and humid, so the weeds are growing like crazy in the garden behind me. Maybe I'll get some time to pull weeds today. All right, my goat wranglers. Good job, boys. Uh-oh, I got Rocky trying to escape. Let me go grab her. Rocky, come on. Good job, boys. Back, go. Come on, Rocky. Rocky and Fancy too can be a little difficult sometimes. It's gone. Fancy's always looking for something else she can nibble on. Gone. Yeah, Hearts, don't stick her with a stick. She has a bucket of food I haven't given her yet. Let me go grab it. She can stay out here with you, okay? Okay. But don't hit her with a stick. I think she's gaining weight. Her ribs don't look nearly as obvious.
I have this.
You gotta be gentle with that stick, not to use it with animals. And bring it to Hearts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heavy.
That's really heavy, but she sees you. She knows you have it. Spoiled baby. So we are still giving her the beet pulp, but she's not getting the special smoothie diet anymore. We did that for a while though, and I have the ingredients still to do it again if I suspect that she's declining, but she seems to be on the upswing. She actually was the leader coming out of the stall today. She led all the others out, which is a really good sign that she is definitely on the mend, feeling much better. The one strange thing with Hearts is, although her weight seems to be coming up and her energy is all back and everything like that, she's still very anemic. And I know people have told me that it takes a long time to improve anemia, but I've given her iron once a week for a while. And now I'm wondering, maybe she has some parasite that's not showing in the fecal exam that could be bothering her. But I've done, I don't know, I've done fecal exams on her and it doesn't seem to be the case. So I feel like maybe I'm missing something. So what I think I'm going to do is, now that she seems so healthy, I'm going to go ahead and do my essential oil deworming regimen, which is 1 drop of each of the oils that I use, and that are oregano, wild orange, frankincense, and On Guard. If you don't have On Guard, that's rosemary, eucalyptus, cinnamon, clove. Do not use clove or On Guard on pregnant animals. So guys, don't touch the fence like that. You're gonna ground it out and drain the battery. Boys. Not to mention scare the pup. All right, well, I'm gonna go get the puppies food and get them fed. They're on their 3 days of Molly's Herbal Formula 1. So I like to do that with the dogs as well as the goats. So great news, everyone. Bo is back to normal. He's completely healed. Regular poop, regular appetite, regular behavior. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I always get so nervous. Even though scours are a common thing in goats, they can lead to death if not properly handled, or if the scours are caused by something that's deadly. So, not to be taken lightly, but not to panic about either. Poor little baby. In fact, Fluffernutter has a little bit wet poop today, or yesterday he started to have it, and I noticed it was still there today. Ducks are kind of scattered around this shade area, but no eggs still. Hopefully they'll start laying soon. I guess all the goats enjoy the good shade. Just relaxing, eating, having a good time. My beautiful, healthy herd. I love these guys. So I've been making some slow, gradual changes in the feed. So one thing that we've changed is our hay. We're trying to do Bermuda hay more often, especially for the bucks and then the goats that are not in milk. Except none of the goats seem to even eat the Bermuda. It just seems to sit in the hay basket forever. Hi. You think I got treats? You think I got treats? No treats. And so the Bermuda doesn't seem to be something that they like very much, but they have it available. That's the thing, is you always have to have hay available to goats 24/7. They can never go without hay. And it's good Bermuda, so it should be okay for them. They're just spoiled. They're used to the alfalfa. So I give a smaller amount of alfalfa hay, like every other day. I'll put it out here with them and let them have some so that everybody gets some. And then in the stalls that have babies and moms and milk get alfalfa hay. So we're still using alfalfa hay, just concentrating on the ones that need it the most. Because otherwise, all those fat, over a year goats that haven't had a baby yet, they'll eat it all. And I'm like, you guys don't need it. You are fat, you are over conditioned. You go eat some Bermuda and be happy with it. But luckily we have all this forage. So even if they're not eating a lot of hay, they're eating a lot of forage. And that is the best thing for goats, period, hands down. It's just a matter of unspoiling them. And then for the grain, what I've done is reduce the amount of alfalfa pellets in the food overall and concentrated the alfalfa pellets into the milkers. So the ones that jump up on the milk stand get the bulk of the alfalfa pellets. And their babies get a little too, because I always take whatever's left in the food dish and give it to the babies, so that the babies are starting to get used to eating a little bit of grain too. I increased the amount of oats and decreased the amount of all stock pellets. So I took 1 scoop of all stock pellets away and increased by 1 scoop of oats. The important thing is to keep the calcium to phosphorus ratio correct. I think it's 2 to 1. I'll double check that. The information that I have been using as a guideline for the calcium to phosphorus ratio, I actually got off of Rosie's website. I've told you guys about her before. She has a Facebook group, Successful Goating with Rosie. And she has some great information on her Facebook group. So that's where I get that information about keeping my feed ratio correct. So I'm still keeping the food ratio correct, but the oats only cost $10 a bag. Whereas the alfalfa and the all stock cost $15 a bag. So that's why I changed that amount in that ratio. The alfalfa hay is more expensive than Bermuda. So I'm not really feeding a whole lot less, although I am giving the bucks less grain. The bucks are in good condition. They don't need a lot of grain. In all of this, I am doing it very gradually. And if I see anybody's body condition scores start to suffer from it, I will change back to what I need to keep their body condition scores at a good optimum level. I've also excluded the black oil sunflower seeds from their diet. That was something that I always gave so they'd have a nice shiny coat, and you know, it gives some selenium and there's some nutritional value, but it's mostly not that much. And it's only about 2 tablespoons per goat that they end up getting anyway. So eliminated that. That eliminated a whole bag of feed at the feed store for a week. So that's good. We're making very small changes that will help us financially for our feed cost. We've reduced our chicken flock so that we won't spend as much money on the non-GMO layer pellets. We're going to be increasing our quail numbers because they are very efficient in their feed. They eat very little and they produce an egg every day. So I'm very happy with the cost ratio on quail, and they're easy to take care of. We have another batch in the incubator. The incubator's full. And our friend Kathy Stevenson, she has a YouTube channel, so if you want to go check that out, please do. She sent us some, and we're going to send her some elderberry cuttings in the fall when I'm able to take cuttings again. I'm not doing cuttings right now on the elderberry because it's so hot. I don't feel like it would be the best time to do it. But I do have, my friend Jatan is experimenting with some softwood cuttings that I sent her. So we'll see how hers do. If you could leave a comment down below, Jatan, I'd appreciate it. Let us know how those are doing for you. And basically, we're just trying to find the right balance where the goats are still healthy and doing well, but our wallet is a little healthier too, because we have to make some changes like that. I have a couple of goats I want to sell to improve my herd. I might be getting another goat from a friend who's reducing her flock, her herd, and is looking at giving us one. But if it weren't for the fact that it was being given to us, we wouldn't be adding anything right now, just because we can't afford to buy a new goat right now. But adding a yearling in would not increase our food cost that much, and it would be a huge benefit to our herd dynamics because we have a lot of genetic relatives in our herd. So we're trying to get more diversity by adding from other people's herds so that we'll have a more balanced herd ourselves, which is going to help us for future sales of our kids. So being able to sell kids from these goats is going to really help us, and we just need to keep plugging forward, and it's gonna get better and better. And hopefully the content that I'm putting out now is going to increase our YouTube revenue as well, and we'll be able to do better there too. So just everything is hopefully gonna be on the up and up. The cool thing about hatching out more quail means that I don't have to worry about harvesting the males that we have now. I think we have at least 4 males in there, so we definitely need to harvest 3 of them. And I really love quail meat, and I'm looking forward to that. They are a lot easier to process than a chicken because they're smaller, so it's quicker, easier to do. So that's a win-win for me too. I really think quail are very, very beneficial for the homestead, especially if you have an urban setting, because you can have quail in your backyard in a hutch and they don't make a lot of noise. And when the roosters do crow, it's actually kind of a pretty sound. This is a big, beautiful pepper plant that Ryan was gifted from one of his coworkers. They were growing it in the greenhouse just for fun, for their own use, and they grew a bunch of them. And Ryan saw it and thought, oh, that's a nice looking pepper. And they actually pulled up to him and said, hey, you want this? So we're excited about that. We love some spicy peppers. The peppers that we got from our friend Deb at Corn Creek Growers are doing good as well. Sugarcane's getting tall. Horseradish is doing amazing. And we've been having a lot of rain, but it looks like I might need to water. I don't know what the seedlings look like for cotton, so I don't think any of these are cotton seedlings coming up. I think it's going to be a little bit longer before we see them. Oh, I see a peanut coming through. That's pretty cool and awesome. That is a peanut seed. bursting through the soil. So we will be seeing a lot more of those soon. That's exciting. Oh, yep, I see another one right here. So the ones that were planted more shallow are probably the ones we're seeing popping up. And the ones that ended up a little deeper will probably take a little bit longer to break through the surface. How cool is that, guys? I think it's very cool. There's some more down here. It looks like these actually were not planted. So I am going to poke that little guy into, oh, I don't want to disturb his new roots, so I'm actually gonna bury him a little bit. He's just a little bit too close to the surface, and there's another one poking through there. I don't see any of the beans yet, but I'm sure they won't be long. So here's kind of a funny story. Mother Nature planted these pumpkins. We had a giant pumpkin that we put in a wheelbarrow to carry off because it was rotten. And Ryan needed a wheelbarrow one day and dumped it out right here. I said, no, I needed to harvest seed from there. And he's like, well, they'll grow, I'm sure. So what's funny is this is a cluster of a whole bunch of plants. Somehow one seed went over here. That huge plant growing by itself is bigger than those. And it was one that I said, oh, Ryan, you don't have to worry about it. Just run over it with the tractor. It's all by itself. We've got plenty right here. And he said, no, I'm gonna be careful. And he dumped the mulch right up against it like that and didn't hurt it. And he said, see, I made that plant grow bigger and better because I put the mulch on it. And I'm like, you know what, you're probably right. So I think I need to flatten the mulch around to this side and kind of pamper this one. Let these do what they're gonna do. Let them be the wild ones, and then maybe see if we can't get this one to be the special garden one. We'll be able to compare what works better, leaving them alone or nurturing. Tomatoes look kind of sad. I think they need to be watered. There's some yellow leaves. That's kind of a given this time of year with tomatoes. I wish I had more tomato plants. I wish I had the big tomato plants for the big, you know, giant slicing tomatoes. I feel really sad that I don't have more tomatoes. I feel sad that I don't have a lot of things planted, but I've just got to do what I can one day at a time. And that's really the best thing you can do for homesteading, is take it one day at a time. You know, you can't do everything at once. You can't do everything that you want to do. For instance, my bees. I don't know if I've even mentioned to you guys, but the bee guy kept putting me off until it was June. And I said, I can't get bees in June in Georgia. Like, they won't be strong enough to make it through the winter. They won't be strong enough to make it through the dearth. I'll have to feed them like crazy. I'm not gonna be able to split them. Like, it was not my intention to get bees in June. I wanted bees in April. That's why I signed up for bees in April. So unfortunately, I had to ask for a refund. And that hurt. That was a very hard decision. I really wanted bees, but next year. And next year, I'm gonna be ordering them from someone different that has promised me that he will make sure I get some bees on time in April. So that'll be really, really good. So subscriber, longtime subscriber and friend of mine, Lynn Smith, had her daughter actually sent me this shirt. I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you see it? How cute it is? It's a goat wearing a bandana and it says Wholesome Roots. I love it. It's so adorable. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description. She makes custom t-shirts. If anybody wants to have a t-shirt made, I'll leave the link. If I forget to leave the link in the description, somebody please tell me in the comments. Oh, I'm so scatterbrained lately, like I can't remember anything. So I think it was her daughter that made it. Daughter? Yeah, I think so. If I got that wrong, I apologize, Lynn. And another part of doing one day at a time and trying to make things work is I was so nervous about mentioning Patreon in the vlog yesterday, and I'm so happy I did now, because I've had so many emails and messages from you guys supporting the idea that we do Patreon. I've already had several of you sign up to be Patreon supporters, just like that, overnight. And I'm like, why didn't I do this sooner? So I'm really pleased about that. Thank you guys. That support is going to make a world of difference. It gives me a lot more inspiration and desire to really put out even more content than I'm already doing. So I'm going to really try to do good and make you proud. Well, I better get moving on to the house. I keep stopping to talk to you guys. The boys went in already ahead of me. They said they were too hot. I'm like, yes, I know, I'm too hot too. That's part of being a farmer, and you get too hot. All the weather you have to deal with. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. You know the drill. We'll see you next time on Wholesome Roots.